would say that it's been about 4 years now. I studied sociology and psychology in the States, and I lived there for quite a number of years. So for me, when I came back home, photography was kind of my way to reconnect with the continent. I had no training. I just picked up a camera, and that was how I kind of began to express, just kind of what I was seeing, or that was how I was best able to reconnect. I'm definitely drawn to color. For me, I think as part of the continent, those are the aesthetics of the continent, is this color and texture, which I kind of try to bring out in my work. But I'm obviously also drawn to people, particularly, obviously, African people. Also a big part of my work is really just that African identity and what that means. Being African wasn't cool, right? So you wanted to be everything but African. The fact that it's kind of cool now is a great thing, and that's why I think it's looking at youth culture is so important to me, is because it's actually cool to be African. I think that it's just kind of shifted the whole conversation. When I look at myself and my work and the work that I create, there's a lot of reflection. I photograph people who are different, and when I say different, I don't mean even different from what we've been socialized to believe is good or is decent, as Africans. So that's what interests me, is just looking at that as at the shift, whether it's a trend or not. I feel like I'm still going to be interested in those things, because what is informing me is something that I have experienced and lived through. And so, that's what drives me, is looking at the past, how it compares to the present, and what that kind of means for the future. I think human rights have always been it's just an intrinsic part of who I am. When it came to art, to the art piece of it, and creating work, I think it was very important for me to use photography to generate conversation, to create work that would generate conversation. But also important for me was to do it in a non-stereotypical way. I did a series on albinism, but when you look at how the media portrays, like, yes, there is an issue, and this is what's happening, but it doesn't always have to be images of people laying there on the ground, distraught, just a typical image of Africa. But I wanted to generate the conversation, because people would not be used to seeing an issue kind of captured in that way. When I started photography, I would share my work on Instagram or Tumblr. So that's kind of where I started. That's where I got my first job. And then, I started posting on Instagram, and people would like my work, and someone would say, "Hey, I saw your work on Instagram. Can you do this work for me? Or can you do this influencer work for me?" Or, as the numbers grew. So for me, my career probably was kind of propelled by social media, or the internet. These are tools to help you in your career and to help you kind of connect with people. But, you also have to think about, yes, if you're connecting, are you making the right connection, so that if this ever went away, that you would still be able to maintain those. I think you have to be genuine and true to yourself, because what's cool may not be cool tomorrow. Just keep creating and create your best work. The only way to get better is to keep shooting, and just to kind of keep sharing your work and just try to grow from that.